The film begins with Alice Harford and her husband Bill Harford getting ready for a party. They say goodbye to the nanny and their young daughter, Helena.
Wow, you look amazing, Mrs. Harford.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Mommy. Can I step and watch the Nutcracker?
What time's it on?
9 o'clock.
Sure, you can watch that. Or it's on the fridge. Okay. And there's plenty of food in there, so help yourself.
Upon arriving at the party in a luxurious building, they meet Victor Ziegler and his wife, longtime friends of Bill. Victor tells them to enjoy the party, so Bill and Alice start dancing. Bill then spots an old medical school classmate named Nick, who dropped out. Nick plays the piano at the party. The band stops for a few minutes, and Alice goes to the bathroom. Bill takes the opportunity to talk to his old friend. They chat for a few minutes about their time in college, but Nick is called back to the piano. Nick then says, "In 2 days I'll be playing at the Sonata Cafe. If you want to talk more, come visit me." Meanwhile, Alice waits for Bill at the bar, but he's taking a long time. Then a man approaches, Sandor, a Hungarian businessman with many charms, and invites Alice to dance. She accepts, and while they dance, Sandor charms Alice with his words.
What a shame. I have some friends in the art game.
Alice then notices her husband talking to 2 other girls. They seem quite animated. This encourages Sandor, who continues to want to kiss Alice. On the other side, the girls take Dr. Bill to another room in the mansion, but they are interrupted by Victor's butler, who wants Bill's help. Bill takes him to the bathroom where Victor was having sex with a girl, and she passed out. Victor says she took a speedball, a drug. Bill examines her and tries to revive her. At the party, Sandor talks to Alice about art, hoping to take her to the bedroom, but Alice refuses. In the bathroom, the drugged girl survived. Bill advises her never to take that again, as she was very lucky.
You are a very, very lucky girl.
I know.
You're gonna be okay this time.
Victor thanks Bill for saving his skin once more. At the party, the music stops, and Sandor tells them to dance. Again, Alice says she needs to find her husband. Sandor disapproves, saying he needs to see Alice again, but she shows him her ring, saying it's impossible. The next day, the couple goes about their daily lives, and Bill sees his patients at his office. When he gets home, Alice secretly grabs some marijuana for them to smoke. Inside the bedroom, they start arguing about the party, and Alice asks if Bill slept with those models. He retorts by asking if she slept with the Hungarian. They both deny it, but Bill says Alice is very attractive, and that's why men want her. Alice takes it as an insult and asks if that's the only reason a man wants to talk to her. Bill denies it and says he loves her. She replies that the only reason he didn't sleep with the models was out of consideration for her. Bill replies that it's not quite like that, and learns the hard way that arguing with a woman is madness. Alice then asks if he's jealous of her. Bill replies that he isn't because he trusts her. Alice starts laughing, and Bill is confused.
Do you think that's funny?
Alice then begins to say that on their last vacation at the hotel, she saw a young naval officer and their eyes met. That alone was enough to make her so wet that she thought about giving up everything to be with that man, abandoning Bill, Helena, and her career. In a way, she was relieved when the sailor left because she wouldn't have that impulse anymore, but she never forgot him. Bill is stunned that he doesn't recognize his own wife, but the phone rings and Bill answers. Lou Nathanson has just died. Bill takes a taxi to his house, but on the way, he thinks about his wife and the sailor. He arrives at the apartment and is greeted by the deceased's daughter, Marion. He praises her courage and checks on the dotty. He sits with Marion and she begins to talk about how her father had a peaceful end. She also says that she is going to marry a man named Carl and move to Michigan. Strangely, she begins to cry and pulls Bill's face towards her, giving him a kiss and saying that she loves him.
I love you. I love you. You love you. I don't want to go away with Carl.
Bill says she's crazy, but she persists. Suddenly, the doorbell rings and Carl enters the room and greets Bill, who praises his care for the old man. Bill leaves. As quickly as possible, Bill decides to walk back home, but everything reminds him of his wife and that damned sailor. He walks through the streets and encounters some Yale students who bump into him and call him gay.
Faggot. Merry Christmas, Mary.
Hey, hold on. My brothers are back there. In prime cut of meat, baby.
You want to take a ride in this?
Bill continues on his way and at an intersection finds a prostitute.
She invites Bill to spend a few hours with her. Bill is reluctant, but the girl persists, and he enters her house. He says the place is cozy. The girl asks if he wants some fun and agrees on a price of $150. Meanwhile, Alice is at home eating cookies with milk. Bill goes to the bedroom with the girl, but suddenly Alice calls him. Bill gets out of bed and turns down the music. He tells Alice that he's still talking to the relatives of the deceased, Lou Nathanson. He hangs up, and the prostitute asks if he's leaving. Bill replies yes and pays the girl. On his way home, he passes by the Sonata Cafe Club and sees a picture of his friend Nick. Bill goes in, orders a beer, and enjoys the show. During the intermission, Nick comes to talk to him and they sit together. Nick starts talking about the places he plays and says he'll be playing at another place that night. Bill asks where it will be. Nick replies that he doesn't know yet. It's a secret and mysterious group. Bill gets curious and asks for more details. Nick says he never knows what happens in that place because he plays blindfolded. Bill laughs at the absurd situation, and Nick confesses that once the blindfold wasn't properly placed and he saw things he never imagined. Suddenly Nick receives a call and they give him the address, and the entry code is Fidelio. He hangs up and Bill insists that Nick go with him to that place. Nick replies that even if he gave him the address, Bill wouldn't go in because it's necessary to be in costume. Bill then goes to a costume shop called Rainbow. He rings the intercom and calls for Peter Granny, but Mr. Millich comes out to answer, saying that Peter sold the shop and moved from New York. Bill says he was Peter's doctor and shows his registration. Bill says he wants a costume, but Millich points out that the shop has already closed. Bill then offers $200 plus the rental of the costume. Millich changes his mind and lets him in. Bill says he wants a black costume with. Millich goes to retrieve the mask but hears a noise. He enters a small room and discovers two Chinese men having sex with his daughter.
What on earth is going on here?
I can explain everything.
You! What's your idea? And you! Have you no sense of decency?
Millich gets angry and says the girl has mental problems and accuses them of being friends with Epstein. The girl leaves, whispers perverted things in Bill's ear, and returns home. Soon after, Bill heads towards the address, but he can't forget his wife and the sailor. This leaves him feeling unwell and impotent. The taxi takes him to a rural area, where two security guards watch the entrance to a mansion. He asks the taxi driver to wait until he comes out and promises a good payment. Bill gets out of the car and tells the guards the password.
Have any help?
Well, I suppose you'd like the password.
If you'd like, sir.
Fidelio.
Thank you, sir. We'll run you up to the house.
They then take him to the mansion. There, he puts on a mask and witnesses a sinister ritual. His friend Nick plays the piano in the background, blindfolded. The ritual continues, and Bill simply observes. Suddenly, all the women stand up and undress. Then they kneel before the man who appears to be the priest. From above, two guests look intently at Bill and greet him. After that, the priest begins to summon the girls, who start choosing the guests. One of them chooses Bill and tells him he should leave. Bill tries to disguise his reaction, but the girl warns him again, saying it's too dangerous. Then one of the guests arrives and takes the girl away. Bill tries to play Sherlock Holmes and wanders around the place, seeing all sorts of fetishes and orgies being performed by the guests. He arrives at a room and one of the guests sends a girl to speak to him. She asks if he doesn't want to go to a private place, but the girl from before reappears and pulls Bill to another place. She again warns him to leave, but Bill wants to go with her. The woman says that this could cost him his life and tells Bill to run away. She leaves, and a guest appears, telling Bill that the taxi driver wants to speak to him. But when he arrives at the main hall, all the guests are waiting for him.
They don't seem friendly. The man in red tells Bill to approach. The guests close in on him. The man then asks what the password is. Bill replies, Fidelio. The man retorts, asking for the password for the mansion. Bill says he forgot. The man says it doesn't matter if he forgot or never knew, and orders Bill to remove his mask. He obeys, and the man orders, take off your clothes. This confuses Bill, but the man is insistent and threatens him. Suddenly, the same girl from before screams in the hall, saying she will be punished by Bill. The man in red then tells Bill that he is free, but if he continues snooping, he and his family will suffer the consequences.
You are free, but I warn you, if you make any further inquiries, or if you say a single word to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences for you and your family.
Bill arrives home and checks on his daughter. Everything seems fine. He puts away the costume and goes to see Alice, who is having a dream. He wakes her and asks what she was dreaming about. She then explains the dream. Bill and Alice were in a desert when their clothes disappeared. Bill went off to look for the clothes, and suddenly the sailor appeared and began laughing at her. Bill knows that's not the whole story and asks her to tell him the end of the dream. Alice says she started having sex with the sailor, and suddenly several men appeared and started having sex with her too, and Bill could see everything but couldn't do anything. In the dream, she started laughing. She hugs Bill and starts crying. The next day, he goes to the Sonata Cafe, but it was closed. At the diner next door, he asks a waitress if she knows Nick. She says yes. Bill asks for his address and says he's a doctor and has some exams to show Nick. He gets the address, which is a hotel. He goes in and asks the receptionist if he's seen Nick. The guy replies that Nick left at 5 in the morning. Bill asks if he saw anything strange. The receptionist replies yes, he left with two very strong men who looked like mobsters. He also had a bruise on his face. Nick tried to hand him an envelope, but the men stopped him and took it away. Bill is scared, thanks him for the information, and leaves. He goes to the Rainbow store to return the costume. Millich notices that Bill forgot the mask. Bill asks to include it in the bill. Suddenly, Milich's daughter. She leaves the room accompanied by the 2 Chinese men from before. They greet each other and leave. Bill questions whether he wasn't going to call the police, but Milich says he resolved it another way and practically offers his daughter to Bill. In the office, Bill is pensive about his wife's strange dreams. Bill then gets in his car and drives to the same mansion where the events took place. She stops at the gate. A camera films him. Suddenly a car appears, and an old man hands over a letter addressed to Bill. The letter said, "Forget your research. It's completely useless. Consider this a second warning. Hopefully that's enough." Bill arrives home and greets his family, but looking at his wife, he can't forget her words. He returns to the office, but his thoughts are killing him. He then goes to visit the prostitute, bringing a gift. When he arrives, he doesn't find her, but her friend answers the door. She invites him in, and Bill begins to seduce her, but she says she has something to tell him. They sit down, and she says that the prostitute named Sally, whom Bill is looking for, has discovered she has AIDS. Bill is shocked and walks home, but on the way, he realizes he's being followed. He desperately tries to hail a taxi, but it doesn't work.
Taxi, off duty.
He stops at a newsstand to disguise himself, and then enters a random cafe. He goes to read the newspaper, whose cover reads, "Lucky to be alive." But when he opens it, he sees the headline, "Former beauty queen found dead from overdose." His association with the girl from the party is immediate. He goes to the hospital and uses the fact that he's a doctor to gain access to the body. He confirms it's the same girl from the party. He leaves and receives a call from Victor. He goes to visit him, and Victor pours him a whiskey. Victor then reveals that he knows what happened last night. He was at that mansion. Victor says that damn pianist provoked the situation. Bill says the receptionist said Nick had bruises. Victor says they didn't kill him, they just took him back to Seattle. He also warns Bill that those people at the party are very powerful.
Listen, Bill, I don't think you realize what kind of trouble you were in last night. Who do you think those people were? Those were not just ordinary people. If I told you their names, I'm not going to tell you their names, but if I did, I don't think you'd sleep so well.
Bill then asks about the girl, and Victor says she was a whore. Bill shows the newspaper with the news of her death, and Victor replies that it was only a matter of time, because she was an addict, and that's what happened.
That day, she just had a lot of sex and went home, and that's all. Nobody killed anyone. They threatened Bill just for fun, says Victor. Bill returns home, but when he opens his bedroom door, he sees his mask lost on the pillow next to his wife. He starts to cry because his nightmare has no end. His wife hugs him, and Bill says he's going to tell her everything. In the morning, they are both crying, and Alice says that Helena will wake up, and they will take her Christmas shopping. They go shopping with Helena, and there Bill asks what they should do. Alice says they should be grateful for having gotten through their adventures without being killed. They both seem very nervous, and Bill has a frank conversation with his wife. That's the end, but you know that a good part of this movie was cut, and I suspect they were so nervous because they had to hand their daughter over to the cult. I bet that's the real ending. I want you to comment below what you think the real ending of this movie is. Anyway, we'll never know. Subscribe to help and give it a like. Otherwise, the Illuminati will get you. Until next time, bye-bye.